What's up, family? Welcome to session 35, and today's theme is human pedestal. My name is Erin McCluskey, and I'm a mindset and performance coach. And if you would like to learn more about the work I do or get in touch with me directly, I can be reached at www.erinjewelcoaching.com. Again, that's www.erinjewelcoaching.com. So, human pedestals. This is a theme that I'm really grateful that came up for today's mini bite session. This is something that I have historically struggled with tremendously. Putting people on a pedestal. So I think as far back as I can remember, I've done this, putting teachers on pedestals as a young child, putting friends on pedestals as a young child, growing up, even more of putting peers on pedestals, parents on pedestals, authority figures, people that in the environment were kind of known to have a certain type of influence or power. And then as I got older, that shifted into putting people at work during my career on pedestals. Perhaps I had a career in sales, so perhaps top sales performers, putting them on pedestals, putting sales leaders on pedestals, bosses. And then that further evolved after leaving my career to when I really started to dive into the spiritual part of my journey, putting sort of spiritual teachers on pedestals along the way. So before I continue, I would just like to both clarify and share that I have been blessed with just some of the most amazing guidance and support and love and just attention along this journey. And every single person that I've come into contact with, all my challengers, all my supporters, those who are closest to me, every single human being that I have come into contact with during this life experience has been meaningful and it has been purposeful, and I would not change any single one of those interactions, and each and every single one I have gained from. So now let's talk about what happens when we put people on pedestals. And as always, I say I share my experience. I really have no idea what the rest of y'all are experiencing or feeling. And if it resonates, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's also great. So here's what happens when I put people on pedestals. I suffer. I am disappointed. Expectations are not met. And what else happens? Oh, I don't know. A whole slew of things happen. So, I can recall even during my career putting certain individuals in the organizations I worked for on pedestals. So what would end up happening? Perhaps I'd try to be like them. I would try to do the things they were doing because I thought they were better than me. And I thought if I could be just like them, that I would be more lovable. And what that did is that took me out of myself, and that kept me from showing up more authentically. And those of you who work with me and those of you who are listening to these videos know that in order to live authentically, we must be constantly cultivating the mind-body-heart connection, which requires us to go deeper with self. And if I'm trying to be like someone else, I can't go deeper with self. And this goes all the way back to childhood. Having friends that were cooler and more popular, teachers that I would put on pedestals. So I had an experience as a child where I was told something by a teacher that, kind of scarred, kind of sat with me and stayed with me. And I believed it because I put that teacher on a pedestal. So just throwing out various examples, I think things really took a turn for the worse in a way. But again, this is where all the growth happens. When I left my last company and I really dove into the more spiritual aspects of my journey, it was during this time where I came across certain individuals who sort of came across better than, and not pointing fingers at all because all of this is my own interpretation and it was always my choice. I would put these spiritual people on pedestals, and I would say, well, they were better than me and I must be more like them, and I'm not spiritual enough, and my faith isn't strong enough, or I'm not trying enough of these plant medicines, or I'm not, practicing yoga enough, or all the various things that I've done on my journey. And I would put these people on pedestals, and it would take me away from me. And then the disappointment would continue when I wasn't receiving the attention and love from these various individuals that I almost needed in order to feed that relationship that I had created, which was really an unhealthy connection. Because when we put a human, any other human, above us in any other way, we are absolutely going to suffer. Because here's the thing, we are all 1,000% equal. There isn't someone who's more spiritually progressed than someone else. There isn't someone who's more advanced in their career than someone else. There isn't someone who is more advanced in relationship than someone else. There isn't someone who's winning at life more than someone else. It's almost more like a spiral that we're on. Not so much of an ascending, but like the spiral where we experience cycles. And there are periods of time where I feel much more prosperous than other times. But these are just the cycles and the seasons of my life. So through all of these human pedestal connections that I've had, I've arrived at this place today where I recognize that we are, in fact, on this journey together, and that each one of us is at a different part of that journey. And we can learn from each other in really powerful and tremendous ways. So as I wrap up today, I continue to honor and respect every single one of my connections, and I'm grateful today to have one being that I truly adore and worship, and that is my God and my Creator. Thank you all. Until the next time.